Good day, everybody. This is Michael Levitis from JurisQ.com, and we welcome back an attorney, a seasoned personal injury attorney, Herbert Lawrence, from the law offices of Herbert Lawrence. We heard before from Herbert, from his off-counsel, Steven. We'll bring back Herbert for more questions on personal injury. Welcome back to our podcast, Herbert.
Thank you.
Thank you. Today I want to ask you, if somebody gets injured in a car accident, what type of injury needs to be sustained to get compensation? In other words, it can't be like you got a little scratch on your finger, right? It has to be a serious injury according to New Jersey law. Can you describe to us, according to New Jersey law, what constitutes a serious injury to get compensation?
Well, serious under the law is really an imperfect term. Obviously, the scratch that you mentioned, of course, no one would consider that serious.
Right.
But serious has an effect on your life, on your normal, everyday, either your occupation or inclusive if you're not occupied, if you don't have an occupation.
Okay.
Just your everyday existence and normal behavior. In addition, it's really that which a jury finds to be serious, and it's a serious impact on your life, then it's a serious type of injury.
Okay.
Part of what we do is we have a doctor who either treated you or examined you, and that doctor proffers his or her opinion that the injury is serious and it has a serious impact on your normal day-to-day living.
Right.
There are certain aspects of injuries that technically don't meet the threshold. In other words, if you have a fracture, but it's non-displaced, it may not pass the threshold
Really?
for compensation.
Wow, I didn't know that.
But with a doctor's testimony, depending on what the testimony is, it can in fact be submitted to the jury, depending on what that doctor testifies to. And of course, the doctor proffers his opinion during the testimony as to several things, not only whether it's serious or not, but whether it has a serious impact on your lifestyle. And of course, the question generally will go to a jury, and then the jury is the one who decides whether it's serious, whether it's compensable, and if compensable, what the amount of recovery would be.
Herbert, what if injury is not visible, but if somebody gets, let's say, a concussion, and that prevents that person from working for a number of days or weeks? In your opinion, do you think that constitutes an injury that you can get compensation for?
Well, I think that it does, especially if tests are done, like the EKG or similar type tests, which test comes out positive.
Okay.
You know, anyone can describe, let's say, dizziness and things of that nature that might be described as a concussion, but there are actual tests that test the human body to determine whether, in fact, the condition complained of really is there.
So it seems like, Herbert, when you go to an attorney, it's important that this attorney refers you to the right experts, the right doctors that could assess your injury and ascertain and make proper tests to see if the injury is serious or not, right? Because if you just go to a regular doctor, he or she may not know what to look for in terms of assessing the injury.
Correct. And the doctors that generally are used, certainly by us and probably by many attorneys, are doctors that once the injury remains, let's say, for some period of time, they will send you to an MRI
Right.
facility. The MRI is a much more complete test than just X-rays.
Mhm.
X-rays merely show sort of a one-dimensional aspect to see whether a bone is broken. The MRI is much more complete. It shows soft tissue. It shows pretty much everything internally without having to actually cut someone open to see it. It's a magnificent test and almost uniformly is used to determine the extent of what the injury is. And of course, then it's the opinion of the doctor concerning the treatment regimen and the conclusive opinion by that doctor to determine what the permanent aspect of the injury is.
Okay, Herbert, thank you so much for answering our question. Of course, what we do here is we educate people on the law. Specifically with you, we educate people on personal injury landscape, the laws in the state of New Jersey. This is where you practice. And this is just general information. If anybody has any specific questions about your case, you want to get second opinion, you have to call the law offices of Herbert Lawrence. The phone number is in the bottom of the screen. Herbert, thank you for your time today. I'm going to come back to you in our next session, and I want to talk some more about not only just the injuries, but also how do you get the treatment for these injuries and who pays for that? Does your insurance cover it, or do you have to have a special insurance, what's called no-fault insurance, that covers the injuries? We're going to talk about it in our next session. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Until next time. Thank you, Herbert.
Thank you.
Thank you.